All right, we also have with us right now on the broadcast Harsh Shringla, the ambassador who's joining us. Mr. Shringla, thank you so much for speaking to CNN News 18. We've just gotten these early results, early trends coming in right now. Trump surging past 150 electoral votes. In fact, he's holding on to his lead in important states like North Carolina and Georgia as well. But if we talk about the US presidential election, you know, it's been full of twists and turns with 2 assassination attempts on Donald Trump. From India's perspective, I wanted to understand from you how important is this election, and also, you know, if at all the former president Donald Trump is elected to power, what does this mean for India, given his very strategic outreach recently to the Indian diaspora, how he condemned the recent attacks on Indian minorities in Bangladesh?
So just a brief word before I respond to your question to put things in perspective. I think it's very early, and
Yes,
the trends
indeed.
that you're seeing does not indicate in any way the final result, because these are expected trends. And what is important are the battleground states, and I think what's important is
Yes.
Pennsylvania and Michigan, where Kamala Harris seems to be leading.
She's
But
leading in
having said that,
Pennsylvania, yes.
and Michigan, I think. So I think having said that, let's come down to the question at hand. I think obviously the US elections is very important for a close strategic partner like India. We are so interlinked in many ways to the US economy in terms of investments, technology, trade, the people-to-people ties, but also at the political level, a strategic connect between our two countries as quad partners brings us, I think, much closer in many senses. The defense aspect of it also cannot be underemphasized.
Oh, absolutely. You know why, Mr. Shringla, I talked about Trump is because of his camaraderie that he shares with the Prime Minister, and you know how both of them are very aligned as far as Trump making America great again and Modi's emphasis on India first. You know, both of them having very similar interests as far as domestic economy is concerned, or secure borders as well.
Yeah, well, I've seen firsthand the personal connect that Donald Trump had with Prime Minister Modi. I think they really hit it off very well. Howdy Modi was a prime example of how the two came together to address an audience of 50,000 Indian Americans. And then Trump came to India, and we had Namaste Trump, which was a huge success with the 1 lakh people in that stadium in Ahmedabad. But having said that, the Prime Minister also has a very, very good relationship with Kamala Harris. He has met her as Vice President in 2021 and last year when I think he visited Washington, D.C., had a state visit there. And from that point of view, it's very important that whoever is President of the United States has a good rapport with the Prime Minister of India for that relationship to move forward.
True.
So Prime Minister Modi has had a great relationship with President Obama, President Trump, President Biden, and with Vice President Kamala Harris. And I think that's the way it should be. But yes, I mean, Trump has been president. He's a known commodity. We've dealt with him. He's got good things to say about Prime Minister Modi and about India. I think he's cognizant about some of the concerns that we have, not only in India, but in our neighborhood. So I think
and he also cut military aid to Pakistan, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Shringla, isn't that right?
Yes, that's right. That's right. Absolutely. That happened when I was ambassador, and successive US presidents have been threatening to cut military aid to Pakistan, and Trump really went and did it. And he also brought down other assistance to Pakistan to a bare minimum. So I think he means business. And even in terms of tariffs, we are worried about tariffs. He did increase some of the tariffs with India, but then he went and levied a 25% tariff increase on $350 billion of Chinese imports into America. And I think that really gave us a window of opportunity, which took our trade to a much higher level, and our exports really boomed as a result of that. So there is a collateral benefit that we've seen. And even in his campaign, in the last 1 month, he's used the word China 40 times. And of course, I think his focus has been on the strategic aspects of the US's outlook. In many senses, we share from a quad perspective and as a strategic partner of the United States.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, both the leaders have emphasized on domestic growth, on economic nationalism, and most importantly, secure borders. Kindly stay on with me, Ambassador. I also have with us on the broadcast Dr. Joseph M. Chalil, who's a noted author, Seher Khan, a foreign policy expert as well. Thank you so much and a very good morning to all of my guests. Dr. Joseph, what do you make of this very tightly fought elections between the former president and the Vice President Kamala Harris? I mean, both of them neck and neck. These are some real anxious moments for the people of the United States. You know, it's an election which is immensely significant in US history as well.
Good morning and greetings from Palm Beach, Florida, hometown of Donald Trump. I was just at the convention center. We were, usually the watch parties for election nights are in smaller halls with, let's say, 1,000 or 2,000 people. Trump actually moved his convention watch party to the Palm Beach Convention Center, which can host tens of thousands of people. And it's sold out for the past few days. We couldn't even get a journalist in there. So the excitement is very big here. This is maybe in my lifetime, I've been working, here for over 24 years with multiple Republican presidents and Democratic presidents. This is the first time it's a changed election. The electorate has changed. The coalition has changed. So if Trump is able to pull this off, I think it's going to be a miracle. But I'm expecting that not just the presidency, but they are feeling very good about the Senate and the Congress, because the president by himself is handicapped without having the Senate control, because the Senate is needed to confirm all the appointees, including all the ministers, secretaries, as we call it here, and all the department heads need to be approved and confirmed by the Senate. So let's say even the president wins without Senate majority, he's the handicapped president. So, but again, even though what we see the early leads, nothing is surprising as we speak from the results we see. But remember, the Florida where I'm from and Ohio, where now both places Trump won, were
both places have gone the Trump way. Dr. Joseph, just kindly stay on with me, and